Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, how war heroes could soon have their names on the street, celebrations for a domestic violence forum, and Grimsby residents benefiting from solar power. And joining me on the sofa are Paul Glazebrook, Delivery Manager for Healthwatch, telling me about this week's Health Action Week. And a little later, I'll be talking to David Searle about cleaning in Cleethorpes. The MP for Cleethorpes and Immingham says he was disappointed with the lack of focus on the south bank of the Humber during Humber Business Week. A series of events took place across the area last week, including a debate on the Northern Powerhouse at the University of Hull on Friday. That's where we caught up with Martin Vickers, who discussed his concern.
I would have to say, though, that the focus has been far too much on the North Bank. You know, I point to the title and it does actually say Humber Business Week. We've heard a little bit less about the prospects for the South Bank, except from Simon Bird from AVP, who quite rightly pointed out that Immingham is actually the largest port in the country and the fourth largest in Europe, and an important focus on there. We need to develop, much talk about container traffic, and we need to focus on that and get the necessary enhancements to the rail network that we need to handle the larger containers.
Humberside police have arrested 3 people in connection with incidents at the allotments on Park Lane in Cottingham, which happened overnight last weekend. A 19-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of criminal damage and burglary last Wednesday. A further arrest was made on Thursday when 2 17-year-old boys were arrested on suspicion of criminal damage. All 3 have been released on police bail pending further inquiries. A councillor is appealing for relatives of the 150 Cottingham people who died during the war to come forward, as the council wishes to honour them by naming streets after them. Kevin Casson is on the Villages Parish Council, which takes over Cottingham Memorial Gardens in the next couple of weeks, and where there is already a memorial plaque. And Kevin says naming new streets after the fallen would be a fitting tribute.
We would like the people, relatives of the people, to come forward so we can use the names in their entirety. We can use the surname, which isn't a problem, but we would like to use their first name as well. But we need written permission. So if anyone who's watching this has got a relative in this area, we would like them to write to the parish office and please give written permission, and that'd be greatly appreciated. As far as we know, they're all Cottingham people. There was registered when they went to the war. That was registered here, so they are Cottingham people.
A new organisation is to bring Grimsby's residents together thanks to solar power. The newly formed Grimsby Community Energy Community Benefit Society is developing a scheme of community-owned solar panel projects in which local people and businesses will be able to invest. Working alongside the national organisation Share Energy, which has previously raised millions of pounds with similar projects across the country, the society will offer the people of Grimsby the chance to take part in this scheme over the next few months. Fred McNamara has more.
What we're about to launch is a community-owned energy project in Grimsby. Now, people might be wondering what on earth one of those is. Well, there are hundreds of community energy projects all over the UK. They've got lots of installations, many thousands of installed kilowatts of power. They've raised millions of pounds for their projects, and we want to bring this concept to Grimsby. So that's what we're about.
We're a not-for-profit organisation who provides free business support for businesses in our area, and our whole ethos is about adding value to the local economy. We have quite a large property portfolio, and the roofs of which we're going to put forward as a platform for this project.
When we set the project up, we will install solar panels on a number of buildings. There are some from E-Factor, which we'll hear presently, some from the Freemen of Grimsby, which are charity shops. The charities within those shops are St Andrew's Hospice and the Rock Foundation. And we're also hoping to install in the Rock Foundation's building on Hennage Road. So we'll benefit those buildings by putting the solar panels on, and they will receive electricity. We also offer the opportunity for the community to invest in the shares to pay for the project, and over the years as the solar panels make electricity we pay back our investors. Most importantly for Grimsby though, we hope to set up a community benefit fund from the profits and spend them on related projects. So that's in the years to come. The investors, the members will be able to get involved in deciding what we do next and helping to direct that process as part of the community.
The benefit to us, of course, is that we'll get part of our electricity demand on our sites at a lower rate than we would be able to do so from the electricity suppliers. And we can use this to make sure that we're more efficient and therefore have more funds available to provide business support. We always look to operate efficiently, and when you add that to the benefits that this scheme will give to the local economy, then we think it's just a project that we want to be involved in.
The best thing is the opportunity for the local community to get involved with renewable energy.
Well, I think the best thing is that this project just simply adds to what we try and do across the whole region, and it shows yet again that we're a caring organisation that provides benefit to the region and to the local businesses that are in our estates.
We know these things make money, but so often the money goes off to somewhere else. This is an opportunity for the money to stay in Grimsby, creating low carbon electricity and benefiting local organisations which are either social enterprises or charities. So what I'd really say to people, if this sounds interesting and floats your boat, we've got our launch event on Wednesday the 15th. If you're online, look on Eventbrite for Grimsby Community Energy. If you're on Facebook, again look for Grimsby Community Energy and you'll be able to find the details there. If not, if you call 07932 086 539, we'll be able to get you set up with a ticket, or if you can't attend we can send you further information. So if you are interested, do get in touch.
Health Action Week started today, 5 days of events dedicated to encouraging public discussion of health and social care while celebrating the good work that can be seen in our region. The week-long event will culminate with a grand celebration on Friday at Grimsby's Centre 4, featuring health and social care groups in the community. And I'm joined now in the studio by Paul Glazebrook, Delivery Manager for Healthwatch. Paul, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
What exactly is going on in this Healthy Health Week?
Well, it's a celebration really of the good things that are going on in this area under the banner of health and social care. And it's important for us as a Health Watch because we normally listen to people when things go wrong and they have concerns. And so we don't often celebrate on the good things that are already taking place.
So your organisation, Healthwatch, you're sort of scrutineers, as it were. You're the people come to complain to when they're not happy.
Yes. Healthwatch is here to give local people a voice on health and social care issues. Yes.
So the health care providers are probably quite relieved that you can join in celebrating the good work that they do.
Yes, and we like to turn it on its head occasionally and do that.
How many organisations are involved in this week then?
Well, we're going to lots of individual organisations during the week, and as you've mentioned, we have a special event on Friday, Centre 4, and at that event there will be over 20 organisations with us, joining with us to celebrate the week, and more importantly to give an opportunity for local people to have a taste of some of the activities that they can enjoy under that umbrella of health and social care.
So what can people, if they do turn up on Friday, then what can they expect?
Well, there are a number of activities taking place over the day. People can come along and have a go at archery, at Tai Chi. There are arts and crafts activities, New Age curling. We've even got an opportunity for younger children to come along for a children's story time and storytelling activity. So, and alongside that, a whole range of information and advice stalls.
Archery sounds to me like a health disaster rather than anything. I can just see, well, I won't be taking part. I'm doing my William Tell act. We'll be giving you more customers than you want. But you've got various organisations organising healthcare and social care
Yes.
in North East Lincolnshire.
That's right.
And it would just be lovely to think there was just one umbrella NHS, but no, it's all broken up into all sorts of different operations.
Yes.
How many do you think there are?
different health organisations. I haven't even dared count. We do actually have our own signposting directory which tries to list what's available in this area, but again I've not counted it. It does go into hundreds, but depending on which level you want to look at things, because it's everything from a small local charitable organisation trying to do its bit through to your acute trusts and your clinical commissioners, so it's quite a wide-ranging area.
And are we, as a result of all this, are we growing more healthy?
That's a very difficult question to answer, because clearly you only have to look at the statistics to yourself to see that there are a lot of problem areas. We have an increasingly aged population who have a range of problems. We have a growing problem of obesity.
It's a sort of paradox that we're getting more unhealthy because we're living longer. That's
we are
the
living longer. That's the reality of life.
Stop. You must just remind me where and when's the open day on Friday.
It's Centre 4 on Wootton Road.
In Grimsby.
Opening by Melanie On, the MP. We look forward to it all, and we hope people will join us.
Paul, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, a penguin hatches and celebrating 20 years of a domestic violence forum. And my second guest tonight, Dave Searle, will be telling me about a big clean-up this weekend in Cleethorpes. The Deep in Hull has today seen its first Gentoo penguin chick hatch following a 35-day wait. It's the first Gentoo penguin chick to hatch in an aquarium in the north of England. Parents Nessie and Shackleton, who've been carefully tending the egg throughout the incubation period, are now providing for the chick. They'll take it in turns feeding and sheltering the chick in their nest. The individual penguins that make up the colony at the Deep are dictated by the European breeding programme for this near-threatened species. The Deep's team of aquarists will keep a close eye on the chick's development. Take a look at this. Penguin rearing is not just black and white. Deep for supplying that footage. Last week, the North Lincolnshire Domestic Violence Forum celebrated 20 years since its launch. The council held an event in celebration of the milestone in Scunthorpe last Thursday. The event was an opportunity to highlight the achievements of the forum over the past 20 years. The forum itself is made up of local agencies and acts to provide updates and care for those affected by domestic violence. They also continue to spread awareness of what services are available. Fred McNamara went along to the event.
Well, it's absolutely a recognition of the work that's gone over the last 20 years in raising issues around domestic violence and domestic abuse right throughout the whole of North Lincolnshire. I think a great deal has been achieved. I mean, first of all, around pulling a lot of partnerships together and thinking very much around the victims of domestic abuse, about how we can solve some of their challenges, but most importantly, recognising that there's a resource that's needed to make sure that the support is in place. I think the fact that we've been able to hold a really strong partnership together has enabled us to evolve on a really true agenda that is around reducing domestic abuse right across our patch. It's important that we stress the point that we want people to report, and I think the fact that so many more people are reporting instances of domestic abuse, that's making a massive difference.
The ideal answer would be that there would be no need for a domestic violence forum in 20 years because domestic abuse would no longer be an issue. The reality is that we've still got a long way to go. So I believe that the forum will continue to grow and develop, the partners will work together, and we will tackle domestic violence as it occurs.
I think the fact that we've got such a breadth of partnerships means that we've got one common aim, and it's one common aim around reducing domestic abuse right across the patch. But also it's about changing the culture, acknowledging that we need to be telling children in schools that domestic abuse is completely unacceptable, and frankly acknowledging that any situation which compromises one person over another by the exhaustion of force is completely unacceptable, and obviously we stress that, and changing the culture across all agencies and making sure the support is in place is incredibly important.
It's the partnership. It's all the agencies and organisations, statutory and voluntary, paid staff, volunteers, working together to combat domestic abuse, sharing information and training, supporting and guiding each other. It's a place for people to share ideas and thoughts and concerns, and it enables people to move the work on.
First of all, that we've been able to sustain a partnership for a long time, which means that the police around the table, the council, and also having a permanent chairman like Catherine has done a great deal to compound the work that needs to be done locally, sending a real strong message that if you need support because you've been subject to domestic abuse, we will be there for you. And secondly, sending a really strong cultural message that it's absolutely wrong to try and suggest that you would try to abuse someone in any form of relationship, and also stringing a strong message that if you do commit that level of abuse, you will be taken to court and you'll be tried through the legal system.
Cleethorpes Rugby Union Football Club will be hosting a massive clean-up and renovation event at their Taylors Avenue playing field in Cleethorpes this weekend. It's part of NatWest Rugby Force, a grassroots partnership between NatWest and England Rugby, which aims to help clubs attract new members and become more sustainable businesses. This year's focus is on legacy and sustainability. Dave Searle, Vice Chairman of the Cleethorpes Club, joins me now to tell you more about it. Dave, thank you very much for coming in.
It's okay.
I got your title there as Vice Chairman, but you're also Chairman of the Youth Operation.
The mini, midi and juniors for Cleethorpes.
Okay.
So
now, what exactly is happening this weekend?
We're having we're just in the process of moving to Taylors Avenue Pavilion, which isn't in best order, and we're having a big clean up, painting changing rooms. We're painting the outside of the pavilion. We're tidying up every.
Well, where are you moving from?
We're moving from Luke Alley's on Wilton Road, Industrial Estate, to Taylors Avenue, which is just around the corner, really.
And what's prompted the move? Why are you shifting?
We're working with the council, and we're going to get between a 40-plus year lease. So that'll see me out. And it leaves Cleethorpes in a good stead.
Might see you to the end of your playing days, Dave, but I wouldn't be too pessimistic like that. Taylors Avenue, though, it's a little bit shabby at the moment, isn't it? It needs a bit of work.
It needs a lot of work.
So where and when should people be if they want to take part in this?
We'd like any volunteers from local community, because we're opening it out to the community. It's Taylors Avenue, opposite the old Linton pub.
In Cleethorpes.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just a matter of giving a couple of hours to pack away some old beer cans and splash around a bit of paint.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic, Dave. Good luck with that. I look forward to seeing the place when it's finished. Thank you very much for coming in. Time now for the sports news. And we'll start with some of the weekend's rugby results. Hull FC maintained their lead at the top of Super League after beating second-place Warrington 19-12. It was the Black and Whites' seventh straight win, thanks to tries by Fatuli Talanoa, Mark Minicello and Gareth Ellis. Next up, they travel to Castleford Tigers on Sunday. Elsewhere, Hull Kingston Rovers were just 3 minutes from beating Wigan Warriors on Friday, but conceded a late try to go down 20-18 at the Lightstream Stadium. Albert Kelly and Thomas Minns went over for the Robins, but it was the last-minute Sam Tonkin's effort that decided the game. They remain ninth, crucially now 5 points from a top 8 spot. Hull City have announced some of their pre-season schedule this afternoon. They'll kick off at Grimsby Town on Friday the 15th of July. They'll also play regular pre-season opposition North Ferriby United as well as Scunthorpe United on the 23rd of July. Nearly 5,000 football fans have signed a Grimsby Town supporters petition against the expansion of the Football League trophy to include Premier League academy teams. The plans mean 16 Category 1 academies, or under 21 sides, will join the existing 48 League 1 and 2 clubs in the competition from next season, beginning with a group stage for the first time. This has some fans, including Nathan Hill of Tetney, who set up the petition, concerned about the increased cost to supporters and fixture congestion. The Football League says that it's a one-year trial and it'll be reviewed at the end of next season. Meanwhile, today, season passes for Grimsby Town's return to the Football League have gone on sale. Existing season pass holders have already had the opportunity to purchase tickets for next season, but now new passes are available from the club. The Mariners Trust and Grimsby Town are hoping to achieve 3,000 pass sales as part of Operation 3000, which comes following the successful Operation Promotion campaign. North Ferriby United have announced Darren Stamp as their new assistant manager. He'll assist Steve Howsham for the villagers' first foray into the National League. Meanwhile, Captain Liam King has been named in the National League North All-Star Team of the Year. On to cricket, and second place Appleby Frodingham lost ground on the leaders in the Yorkshire ECB South League on Saturday when their match was abandoned. Elsewhere, Cleethorpes moved back into third position with victory over Doncaster. They posted 156, but Doncaster could only muster 78 all out. In the northern section, Driffield were beaten by 7 wickets by York, while Hull collected 4 points from leaders Yorkshire Academy. The latter batted first, scored 194. In reply, Hull finished on 178 for 7. Now, that's all the sports and that's all the news for today. If you have a story for us, then please do visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 3155553 or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. That's it for this evening. Until tomorrow, good evening. Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, job fairs at a seafood plant aiming to keep talent in the area and delivering a load of rubbish. And I'll be joined in the studio by Melanie King from Macmillan Cancer Support, who's looking for volunteers to help cancer patients. But first, the news. Jobs could be threatened at Icelandic Sea Chill in Grimsby after it lost one of its biggest contracts. Marks & Spencer have cancelled a contract with the firm in a contract worth around £50 million a year, as well as work with Five Star Fish of Grimsby, part of the Beauparan Group, and Greencore. They both already produce products for the retailer. Our reporter Rashita Green is at Icelandic Sea Chill for us and brings us the latest.
Local firm Icelandic Sea Chill have recently been informed by Marks & Spencers that they have given the contract for all future business to other suppliers. The company have been supplying Marks & Spencers with coated, uncruth and deli products for over 30 years in a contract worth £50 to £60 million. In a statement issued to the media, Icelandic have said, "We are currently reviewing all practicable scenarios. It is early days and we're working on detailed proposals which we will share with our employees at the earliest opportunity. Our number one priority is to support those directly impacted by the decision that M&S have taken. The Icelandic Sea Chill business remains in good shape with strong and continuing partnerships with our remaining customers. Exactly how long the transfer of business will take is as yet unknown. Needless to say, the jobs related to the business with M&S may well be affected.
£250,000 is spent in Hull each year to clear up fly tipping. That's according to Hull City Councillor Martin Mancy, who's been speaking at the launch of a new campaign to highlight the issue and reduce the amount of waste dumped by members of the public and by companies. 27,000 leaflets are being posted to some of the hotspots in the city, which has seen an increase of 25% in fly tipping cases since last year.
500 tonnes of material a year is a lot of rubbish to be lying around the streets. And we're seeing everything from mattresses, three-piece suites, televisions, refrigerators, almost anything and everything you can imagine just being dumped on our streets, making the place look untidy, creating health and safety hazards, and at a time when council finances are under such pressure, as I say, costing £250,000, which could be far better spent on other services. We provide 3 household waste recycling centres in the city to which people can take their rubbish. We also offer a free bulky item collection service. So really there is no excuse, absolutely no excuse. Now some of the fly tipping, we believe, is not individuals. It's perhaps individuals who've paid rogue traders, given them £20 or something like that to take the rubbish away. These unlicensed rogue traders take the money, take the rubbish, drive around the corner and dump it.
I wonder what happens to the 27,000 leaflets. General Secretary of Community, the Steelworkers Union, Roy Rickhus, has written to the union's members urging them to vote to remain in the EU. With only 9 days to go, Mr Rickhus calls on Community's diverse membership to choose what he calls the certainty and protection of remaining in Europe over the risk and exposure of leaving. He said that trade union members and their families will be crucial to the outcome of the referendum. A recruitment event was held in Grimsby today to show what opportunities and support are on offer to graduates from the area. The Graduate Advancement Programme, relaunched for a 3rd year by North East Lincolnshire Council in partnership with Grimsby's Job Centre Plus, offers local graduates the opportunity to gain paid work experience through internships with a wide range of organisations and businesses. The scheme has already helped 40 graduates to find a job. Rashida Green was there.
We're here today at Abbey's Wine Bar to launch the 3rd year of our Graduate Advancement Programme scheme. And the scheme's aimed at retaining talent in the local area. We started the project 3 years ago, myself and Deborah Cooper from the local authority, because we were meeting employers that were struggling to find graduates, and vice versa, we were meeting graduates that were struggling to find employers. So we felt that a matching service would be a very useful solution for both employers and graduates. Deborah Cooper with the local authority developed the programme and the marketing and the £1,500 grant that an employer can claim for offering an internship to a local graduate, and Job Centre Plus support by registering the graduates, maintaining the caseload and matching the young people up with employers. So this year we've got around another 40 graduates, all from different disciplines, lots and lots of different degree backgrounds registering with us already. We've got lots of interest from employers who are interested in either just recruiting a graduate locally or taking advantage of the Graduate Advancement Scheme and actually benefiting from the £1,500 grant, and what they're giving back is an internship opportunity to a local graduate.
This week is Bike Week, and Grimsby Cycle Hub, with support from North East Lincolnshire Council and NG, are putting on a variety of events around the borough. Running until Sunday, there's a bike maintenance workshop, a family fun day and a doctor bike surgery. Our reporter Fred McNamara popped down to the Cycle Hub to find out more.
Bike Week is a national celebration of all things cycling, and it encourages both existing cyclists to carry on riding and get new people back on bikes, or even on a bike for the first time.
Bike Week for me is mechanics of all the bikes that come in, so we do a safety check on every bike that arrives, and we take doctor bikes out to other places, areas around the town. We service bikes there, try and make them work as best they can, free for the customer.
Well, there's various events that are going on around the county. We ourselves are putting on some free doctor bike surgeries where people can go and get the bike service for free. There's a family fun day on Saturday the 18th where people can try different types of bikes. There'll be trikes there, electric bikes and go-karts for people to try. They can challenge their friends or family to a race on the pedal-powered scale electric. We've also got a free bike maintenance workshop. Now there's only 10 places available on this, so people do have to book quite soon. And they can also log any rides they do on the Love to Ride website, where they will, for any rides of 10 minutes or more, gain the opportunity to win prizes.
For me, it's everyone gets on their bike all at the same time, so we get a lot of stuff coming in, people see in the shop, and we get a lot of bikes sort of fixed and back out so people can ride them throughout the summer. It's just a chance for everyone to get cycling all at the same time, so there's no some people doing it, some people not, everyone does it at the same time.
The best thing about Bike Week must be the whole nation coming together to celebrate cycling all at the same time.
An appeal has been launched for people to step forward and volunteer to help cancer patients, their friends and families. The Macmillan Information Centres in Grimsby and Scunthorpe hospitals provide a drop-in facility for people wanting information, advice and assistance about cancer. Macmillan volunteers offer people the chance to talk in confidence about what they're going through in a supportive, private and relaxing environment. And I'm joined now by Melanie King, Macmillan Information Facilitator, to tell me more about how people can get involved. Melanie, thanks very much for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
Now, you're campaigning to get people to come along and pick up a bit of training from you, I take it, and then be able to put an arm around the shoulders of people going through this unpleasant experience.
Yeah, we're looking for people who are interested in volunteering. There's lots of different roles and quite flexible with what we can offer. There's different aspects of the information centre. We do a bit of work out and about in the community, sort of promoting prevention and awareness and sort of screening and things like that as well. So it's not all work in the information centres. We do a bit out and about as well.
If people want to volunteer to be offered this help, then how can they get in touch? What do they have to do?
Either drop in and see me at one of the information centres, either at Scunthorpe Hospital on the Church Lane entrance or at Grimsby in the Oncology and Haematology unit, or just give me a ring on 01724 387 878.
And do they need to have any special training or experience behind them?
No, not at all. An interest in sort of caring for people is all we're really looking for, and the ability to be able to listen to people is all that's required, and all the rest of the training will be delivered.
We'll get a few more details after the break. Okay, thanks very much. Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's news and we'll have a roundup of all the latest sporting action. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, more from Melanie King and a roundup of all the latest sports news. North Lincolnshire Council's Learning Disability Partnership is holding an information event next Tuesday at Ashby Bowls in Scunthorpe. The event will be held from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and people with learning disabilities, their families, carers and partners have been invited to the event to find out what support is available. They'll be able to speak to agencies that provide support and get more details on the range of health and social care services available to keep them safe and well in the community. Councillor David Rose, Cabinet Member for Children, Families and Learning, said that the council wants to reach out to people with a learning disability and their families to make sure they are aware of the support available. As the Euro 2016 campaign continues, Safer Roads Humber is promoting the Morning After campaign to remind motorists not to drink and drive. Coinciding with the tournament in France, the campaign was launched on the 10th of June and will run until the 10th of July, with a range of resources to remind people how long it takes for alcohol to pass through the body. Safer Roads Humber and its partners support the campaign, which will have a social media presence and will be promoted via the Morning After Facebook and Twitter pages. 10,000 postcards will also be distributed at local pubs and a range of events held in the coming weeks. Campaigners hope that the campaign will help motorists avoid unwittingly driving while over the limit the morning after. A new exhibition called Remembering the Somme looks at one of the most famous and costly battles of the First World War. Opening at Beverley's Treasure House on Saturday the 25th of June, the exhibition has artefacts from the museum and archive services collections, as well as loans from private collections. On the first day of the battle, the 1st of July 1916, the British Army suffered 57,000 casualties, with 19,000 men killed, the Army's worst ever losses in a single day. The exhibition lasts until the 10th of September and will be accompanied by a series of educational and family visits. Hull's KCOM Stadium is preparing for rock royalty tonight as Rod Stewart, or Sir Rod Stewart as he's been for the last few days, prepares to go on stage. He'll be performing at the stadium as part of his Hits 2016 tour. More than 10,000 seats are being installed on the pitch, and preparation for tonight's gig started over a week ago. Now, still with me in the studio, Melanie King from Macmillan Cancer Support, telling me how people can volunteer. Now, why is it important to bring in people on a voluntary basis to come and help out with these services, Melanie?
I think it's really important because the volunteers, you know, they want to be there. They come, some of them come because they've had an experience and it's inspired them to give something back and offer some help to people who are perhaps in a similar situation as them. And also, I can't run all the services myself. I'm the only paid member of staff, and we have a centre, as I said, at Scunthorpe and at Grimsby, and we offer a weekly drop-in at Goole Hospital as well. So the volunteers sort of man the fort when I'm not there for me, really.
And it is, as I emphasised in the introduction, it's not just for patients themselves, it's for family, I suppose, especially, and friends as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a funny sort of time for family, really. A lot of people don't quite know how to act or quite what they should be doing. It's a really difficult time. They can often feel a little bit helpless and not really sure where to turn. So we get a lot of people drop in with what do I do questions and what am I meant to be doing? Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things, I suppose. If a friend of yours is diagnosed with cancer, then you can't just completely ignore it. On the other hand, you can't just say, you know, hello, Charlie, how's the cancer today? It's almost what tone do you take, what approach do you take to be as supportive as possible?
Yeah, and the information centres have loads of different information, you know, from Macmillan. Just advice on sort of how to speak to people and what kind of things you could offer to support them. And because it's that common a problem, you know, we don't want to make patients feel like they're on their own at such a time. So it's really important.
Well, how common is it? Because we think of cancer as a rare but horrible disease. Is that an accurate perception of it?
Not really. 1 in 3 of us at the minute will be affected by cancer, and then in future generations it's going to increase to 1 in 2. So
why is that?
Just with it's becoming more common, so in the sort of future generations it's going to be that 1 in 2 of those people will be diagnosed.
That's a bit gloomy, but on the other hand it's not necessarily so gloomy because there is quite a good hope of living long enough into ripe old age, you know, living long enough for something else to get you before the cancer does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much research going on all the time, and they're coming up with new treatments and the preventatives that we've seen, you know, with the vaccination for young girls and for cervical cancer and things like that. The research is ongoing, so there's plenty of hope for the future.
Now, one of the things that your volunteers will be advising people on is how to prevent cancer, or at least how to reduce the risks of that. How does one go about doing that?
Well, like I say, we have lots of different information on that, and the sort of prevention side of things, we often go to events where there's other kind of health and well-being sorts of things going on. So it's as a target for attending screening and catching sort of early diagnosis. Prevention, as we well know, it can affect anybody, and while a sort of healthy diet and stopping smoking and all the things that we all know that we should be doing can help, at the end of the day, it can affect anybody.
So sitting still, drinking brandy, smoking cigars and eating lots and lots of cake.
It's not advisable.
Okay,
no.
well, every now and then, please, Melanie, every now and then. Cancer, some of those ways of curing cancer that you mentioned, the drugs and the technology, I just want to ask you, because of your own background and your own speciality, your background is in ray guns.
In radiotherapy, yeah. So radiotherapy is a treatment that's offered to some cancer patients depending on type, and it's proven very effective and can offer a cure in itself. So our centres over in Hull and patients from our area in this region will all go to Hull for treatment.
One of the advantages of that particular technology as an alternative to chemotherapy, which can sometimes feel, it won't do you as much harm, but can sometimes feel as horrible as the disease itself. This radiotherapy is much less debilitating overall, isn't it? It's much more
it can be.
precise.
It very much depends on the site. Radiotherapy as a treatment is much more localised. We're able to sort of focus it on the specific area needing treatment, while chemotherapy offers systemic treatment to the whole body. So if it's you know, something haematological or something that is in the whole body, or if it's widespread disease.
Haematological being in the blood.
Yes, yeah.
And this really is literally a gun that fires rays. Is it? Or am I imagining it completely wrongly? I'm just fascinated by the technology.
It's a big machine, yeah. So in the same way that people will go and have a CT scan or an X-ray or anything like that, it uses exactly the same technology, just on a much higher energy. So I suppose you could describe it as a gun, but it's a lot bigger. But rather than like when you go for a scan, there's no machine that you sort of go into. It's a big machine that moves around you to be able to sort of get at the angles it needs.
Okay, so I'm wrong to describe it as a gun because it's a lot bigger. I love it.
Well, I think it sounds a bit scary.
Do you want to just repeat those contact details if people do want to volunteer, Melanie?
Yeah, by all means, drop in and see me either at Scunthorpe or at Grimsby, or give me a call on 01724 387 878.
Melanie, thank you so much.
So thank you for having me.
And it's time now for the sports news. And we'll start with news from the world of rugby league, and one of Hull FC's opponents later this month have released a statement this afternoon following the death of one of their young players. 17-year-old Huddersfield Giants academy player Ronan Costello has died after injury during a game on Saturday. He was airlifted to hospital after the incident in the game against St Helens, but he died today. Hull FC utility back Carlos Tuiamavave. I'm going to take a run at this. Carlos Tuiamavave believes he is part of a special squad and says he'll play wherever he's required to help maintain the club's brilliant run of form. The former junior Kiwis captain has impressed in recent weeks since switching to the standoff role alongside Mark Sneyd, keeping former Great Britain star Leon Price out of the side. With competition for places stiff in a squad that sits pretty at the top of the table, Tuiamavave is willing to play anywhere to help the team continue their fantastic form. North Ferriby United's leading scorer from last season and their captain have both left the club to reunite with their former manager. Tom Denton and Liam King were among the history-making squad that took the Villagers to the National League via the playoffs last season, but they've both opted to reunite with then-manager Billy Heath, now at Halifax Town. United's new management team, Steve Howsham and Darren Stamp, will now spend the next few weeks looking to form their own squad for the new campaign. Speaking of which, the fixtures for the new Premier League season are released tomorrow. Hull City returned to the top tier after a year in the Championship, with uncertainty still surrounding the future of manager Steve Bruce. The fixtures are released at 9 a.m. in the morning, and you'll be able to see them on the Estuary TV Twitter feed. And finally, there's a 6-race card at Beverley tonight. The first race gets underway on the Westwood at 6:40, and the going is good, and apparently there'll be Shetland ponies there as well. That's it for tonight. If you have a news story for us, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv, or phone Grimsby 01472 31 553, or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN 345BQ. Until tomorrow, good evening. Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, a vigil to remember those killed in the Orlando shooting, playing it safe the morning after, and the importance of cervical cancer screening. And I'll be joined in the studio by Trevor Miller, of Three Voices, to tell me about their forthcoming performance. A vigil will be held in Hull tonight as the LGBT community unite together, as those are their words, to show their support and solidarity for the Orlando shooting atrocity at the weekend. The event will be held at the Propaganda nightclub on Ferrens Way at 6:15 p.m, and people will be invited to stand shoulder to shoulder and hold hands in remembrance of the 49 people who were murdered in the Pulse gay nightclub in Orlando. There'll be a short address and a few speakers, and people can bring rainbow flags or any other flags. Women across our region are being encouraged to take up their cervical screening tests as part of Cervical Screening Awareness Week, which is running until the 19th of June. Statistics released by the Health and Social Care Information Centre have revealed that more than 1 in 5 women aged 25 to 64 in North East Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire are not booking in and turning up to a smear test. As part of the NHS cervical screening programme, women aged between 25 and 49 are invited to attend screening at their GP practices every 3 years, and women aged 50 to 64 are invited to attend every 5 years. Regular screening provides a high degree of protection against developing cervical cancer. Dr. Marcia Pathak, a local GP and women and children's clinical lead with the CCG, said that early detection and treatment through cervical screening can prevent up to 75% of cervical cancers from developing in the UK. This year's Armed Forces Day is set to be one of the most memorable in Lincolnshire's history. Cleethorpes will play host to this year's event and promises a packed day full of displays from various military organisations. RAF Coningsby near Lincoln held a showcasing event yesterday displaying the various aircraft that will take part in this year's Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Fred McNamara went along to find out more.
Lincolnshire regularly celebrates Armed Forces Day, but 2016 promises to be a day to remember, with the national event taking place in Cleethorpes itself, with other local events spread out across the country. Ahead of the day, RAF Coningsby recently opened its doors and its hangars to showcase their Battle of Britain Memorial Flight aircraft in their hangars. Aircraft including the Typhoon, the Lancaster and more will take to the skies throughout Armed Forces Day.
I think there can be no finer words than awe-inspiring and a sense of privilege that I get to fly these aeroplanes so we can remember what was given by so many for all of us those many years ago. The aircraft themselves are iconic, the Hurricane and the Spitfire, the Lancaster when we have that one as well, and the Dakota. They bring back so many memories to every person that comes into the flight. You just have to see them come into the hangar, which is behind me, and you see emotions playing across their faces, tears in their eyes. The sense of national pride that these aeroplanes and what they did all those years ago is just immense.
I believe the general public think that these aircraft are vital to the nation's heritage. They hold them very dear to their heart, what they stand for in giving our freedom to this country.
For me, the fact that we can bring the memory of the past into the memory of the future, and obviously remember those who have given so much for this country, even the ultimate sacrifice over the last couple of decades serving their country abroad and overseas, and remembering not only the individuals but their friends and families at home as well, which is so very, very important.
The Armed Forces Day, I believe the best thing about the Armed Forces Day event is the general public getting behind all three of the forces, and the appreciation that the public show for us is really, really rewarding.
With a full day's worth of activities for the public to witness, including displays from the Royal Navy, the Red Devils, the Royal Marines and the Red Arrows, this year's Armed Forces Day is set to hold a special place in Cleethorpes' heart.
Ahead of England's next Euro 2016 football game against Wales tomorrow, Humberside Police's Safer Roads team are warning the public about the dangers of drink driving. Following their last game against Russia, the force reported a significant increase in the amount of road traffic collisions that took place, with several arrests having taken place for drink driving. That's England's game against Russia, not the police force. They've now started a campaign called The Morning After to combat the issue.
Since the campaign started, obviously we had the first match on Saturday. Unfortunately, overnight from Saturday into Sunday morning, we did have 8 people at least arrested for drink drive, and those 8 people were as a result of road traffic collisions.
Obviously, we can't say they're directly related to the football, but that is a significant number, really, when we're not usually looking at that number of collisions. What that does mean is there's probably an awful lot more people were out there drink driving. Obviously, we have a finite number of resources, and so if they're engaged dealing with a road traffic collision, they're not out there stopping other motorists to see whether they are under the influence of alcohol at all.
The campaign is about don't drink and drive, which is a really big message. So if you're out watching the Euros, going out watching it at home or watching it in the pub, don't drink and drive. But the other side of the campaign is about actually raising awareness about how long alcohol takes to leave your body. So a lot of people do exactly the right thing. They watch the match. They don't drink and drive that night. But we want to raise awareness about thinking about the morning after. For example, it takes about 10 to 12 hours for 4 pints to leave your body, and if you calculate that from when you stop drinking, you could still have alcohol in your body kind of lunchtime the next day. So think about what you're doing the next day. If you're off to work, don't take the car, use public transport, walk, get a lift, etc. So just think really carefully about not just the night of the match, but actually the days following as well.
Three Voices are a locally based trio of a storyteller, a folk singer and a poet. Graham Langley, Des Allenby and Trevor Millam started out as friends and decided to put their talents together to entertain audiences with their unique cabaret-style literary performances. And I'm joined on the sofa now by one of the trio, the poet, Trevor Millam, to tell me about the upcoming or the forthcoming performance in June. Trevor, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
You better just identify where and when you will be doing your work.
Well, this one is going to be slightly unusual. In the winter months or even the spring and autumn, we perform indoors at Harrison's restaurant in Barton or at the Rope Walk in Barton. But last year we tried an outdoor event on the Humber Bank, and we're starting at the visitor centre, Water's Edge, in the car park there, and we walk through the little outdoor area there, the nature reserve, stop from time to time, and one of us will read a poem, Des will sing a song, walk along a little further, stop overlooking the river, where we find a nice spot. Graham will tell a story, and then we'll move on a little bit further. So we took about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, just walking backwards and forwards through the area there.
This is a very peripatetic performance,
Peripatetic performance, exactly what it was, yes. And people did enjoy it. So we thought we'd try that again this month, and I think it's on Monday the 27th?
Monday the 27th of June at 7:30, and people should meet at the Water's Edge Visitor Centre, and that's in Barton, is it?
That's right, yes.
Okay, and people will know where to go for that. So, the three of you, I can see how there's a sort of complementary element where the poetry, which is, of course, song, so I can see how that's associated with the musician and the singer, and poetry is also very often storytelling. So you're the sort of the link between the three, I take it?
I think that's putting it a bit highly. I think we're all pretty much equal there. We do work together sometimes. Obviously, we've all got our own skills and interests. But for instance, I may do a poem which has sort of musical interlude from Des. I might share some storytelling with Graham, for instance, or Des and Graham may do something together, and sometimes we will all sing together. I mean, that's something to be reckoned with.
Okay,
but it does
never
work.
Never heard you. I make no judgment. But,
well, I'm okay as long as I've got two other voices with me. Put it that way.
Okay. So how long have the three of you known each other, and how long have you been doing this?
Well, we've known each other a very long time because many years ago we taught together at Baysgarth School in Barton. Since then we've all gone our separate ways, done different things, all moved on from teaching, and we met up again at a performance, somebody else's performance, about 3 years ago, and Graham, who tends to be the mover and shaker, said, well, why don't we get together and just see if we can put on a local performance, see how it goes. Which we did, and it went very well, so we thought, let's do it again.
Now, you're a poet, you're a frequently published poet, you're a professional poet, really. You make
I do make some money out of it.
Yes,
so
exactly.
that
That's what I was going to say.
yes.
It sounded like an horrible accusation. No, my darling, I do it for the art. But what sort of poetry do you write? Give us a taster of what we could expect from you.
Well, I mean, I do write poetry for adults, but I have done most of my poetry writing for children. It started out when I was still teaching, and without telling the students, I would try out some of my work on them just to see if they liked it or not, because they're very good judges.
And very rigorous judges,
so
Trevor,
that,
I suspect.
yeah, very rigorous.
We'll have to ask you a little bit more after the break.
Absolutely, yeah.
Join me then when we'll have more of the day's news and a roundup of all the latest sporting action. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, all the latest sporting action and more from Trevor Millam. A group of Diamond supporters have celebrated an anniversary milestone with a slice of cake. Members of the Grimsby Hospital League of Friends have clocked up 60 years of supporting the hospital with their charity work after its launch in 1956. In the early years, the League provided newspapers, chocolate, flowers and vases and water jugs for the wards, but in more recent years they've donated bigger items, including medical equipment worth thousands of pounds. Julia Dobbs, Voluntary Services Manager, said the League of Friends provides an immense wealth of support behind the scenes that many people don't know about. Earlier this year, North Lincolnshire Council entered a collaborative arrangement with Cape UK, a not-for-profit organisation which develops creative learning programmes with schools and youth organisations. The programmes benefit children and young people and help them face the future with creativity and self-belief. Working with Cape UK, the council tendered 4 art commissions to support the council's Creating Strong Communities programme, and the successful artists were given the work to undertake, and they are East Coast Pictures, Focus 7, Katie Smith and Zest Theatre. Toby Eildon, Artistic Director of Zest Theatre, said that the company are really excited to be a part of such a pioneering programme of work to refocus the way in which North East Links engages and works with children and young people. After an overwhelming response to its Community Heroes campaign in partnership with Hull UK's City of Culture 2017, MKM Building Supplies welcomed 10 winners to the KCOM Stadium to see Rod Stewart live. Each community hero won a pair of tickets to the Capacity concert. MKM put the concert together as a way of thanking the people of Hull for their support and custom. Proceeds will go to Hull Charities, the Daisy Appeal and Holy Trinity Church. Nominations flooded in via a special website with incredible stories of people setting up charities, overcoming their own obstacles and putting experience to good use, assisting others. All winners have demonstrated an incredible sense of civic and community pride, selflessly giving up their time and resources to deliver benefits to others. Now, still with me in the studio is Trevor Millam of the Three Voices, here to talk about that walking performance event in Barton and to talk about the poetry. Just one detail we didn't give out before is the address to get tickets, wegottickets.com. Is that right?
That's fine, yes, they should be details of the performance there.
You are a professional writer and you're happy with the words, we got tickets.
Not at all, but it's not my website.
No, it's horrible, isn't it? Okay, anyway, that's how people should contact you. Now, you've been together as the Three Voices for some time, you're old friends, but how long have you been writing poetry?
It's longer than I can probably remember now. I started when I was at school writing very bad doggerel about my teachers. And that got an audience and got a laugh, so it continued from there until hopefully I became a little bit better when I got older and maybe wiser.
Well, we'll come to the importance of the laugh in a moment, but I mean, Robert Graves said that he'd as much write prose rather than poetry as he would play tennis without a net. You need the difficulty, as it were, the difficulty of the form. Is that part of the pleasure for the listener as well as is for the maker of the poem?
I don't know. I think the listener does appreciate, or the reader as well, looking at it on the page, does appreciate a sense of form. I think it's very difficult to write free verse well. Obviously, it can be done. It can be done well, but I find it very hard. And I find the challenge of writing sonnets, which I do quite a lot of, very interesting, and people appreciate reading them.
And the sonnet, we should emphasise, is, well, there are various forms of sonnets from different countries, but the English sonnet is usually a very precise form of, what is it, 12 lines of...
14.
14, well, it's 12 lines of, couplets, isn't it? And then 2 lines of blank verse at the end. Is that right?
Let's not go into it, because no, it isn't.
All right, okay. Is it the other way around? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'll tell you afterwards.
All right, thank you very much. I will be educated by that. But also, that was leading me to the question I said the hearer or the listener to. What's the best way of enjoying poetry? Is it to hear it in the sort of Homeric, bardic tradition, or is it off the page?
I think you can't choose between them, but they are quite different. And I think reading a poem quietly to yourself is one thing. If you go to a poetry reading, or if I'm giving a reading, I tend to go for those which will benefit from a public performance. Because it's very difficult to listen to something very deep and take it all in on one reading, one listening. Whereas something that's amusing, perhaps, or has got a more easily understandable form, some rhyme, will be much easier to appreciate just one-off listening.
Because you also appreciate, then, you're appreciating the form, you're appreciating the sort of the legerdemain required to get that meaning to fit that rhyme and that form. You write for children a lot. A lot of
I do, yes, and enjoy that.
What are the special difficulties, or I suppose the special pleasures, I would hope?
Well, I think you have to mix a certain amount of amusement with still getting a story or a message across. And getting the balance between not dumbing down too much, but also making it, easily understandable by younger children.
They're merciless, aren't they, children? Especially about dumbing down, but they are absolutely without any forgiveness at all if they don't like your work.
Yes, but luckily I haven't come across that.
Well, I'm sure you haven't.
Very fortunate.
I'm sure. No, there's no reason why you ever should. Would you be good enough to let us hear one of your?
I've chosen a short one, but I've given myself a challenge because it's a tongue twister one, and it's for children who are learning about silent letters. One of the most ridiculous silent letters is a silent P in front of a T, as in pterodactyl. So this is about a pterodactyl, but I will pronounce the P's in order to make it clear.
Very good.
So it's about Terence pterodactyl and his patatu. He wanted a patatu. So Terence pterodactyl had a terrible patatu. The patatu was with his mother about his new patatu. Pterodactyls don't have patatus, was his mother's point of view. I'll let you have one last patime, and patati, it looks patu. My friends have more than one, thought Pateri, feeling blue. Why can't Terence pterodactyl patry patu patati patatus patu?
Well done. That was quite athletic, apart from anything else. And you do make a point about the fact that we need to completely reform English spelling, don't you?
I don't mind. It's fun.
Now let's just remind ourselves the 3 voices. Monday the 27th of June, 7:30 at the Water's Edge Visitor Centre. And how long will the performance go on for?
Well, we walk around until people are tired. And if they fall over, we carry them off. We have a wheelchair available. And, if it gets too many hours after midnight, then usually the police come and take us away.
And how many people are you expecting? Because this is quite a sociable event, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, there is a limit to the number of people you can actually speak to and be heard by in that situation. I think last year we had about 25 people there, which is a pretty good number for that. And I would imagine if we had more than that, we'll choose maybe a slightly different site. But it's quite nice to walk through the paths between the ponds there.
I guess if you're doing this walk and you're in this very beautiful environment and you're doing your performance, you're absolutely exhausted by the time you finish, don't you?
I think a lot of things like this are, tiring after the event, and you probably know this yourself. Or if we put on a performance, you get through it without any problem, then afterwards that's the time when you feel really tired. But that's great.
Trevor, I hope you enjoyed as much as I'm certain the audience will. Just a quick reminder that if they want to get tickets, they should go to a website regrettably called wegottickets.com. Trevor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now it's time for the sports news. We'll start with the new Premier League fixtures which were released today. Hull City opened their return to the top flight with one of the toughest draws they could have been given. They'll host the defending champions Leicester City at the KCOM Stadium on Saturday the 13th of August. The date may be changed in due course for television reasons. The Tigers' first four home games see them play Leicester, Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea. City also have a home double during Christmas week. They'll host Pep Guardiola's Manchester City on Boxing Day before welcoming Everton to the city on New Year's Eve. They finish the season at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Elsewhere today, Grimsby Town have made another new signing ahead of their return to the Football League. Former Boston United defender Zach Mills has joined the Mariners on a 2-year deal after being part of the Pilgrims side that took them to the playoffs last term. North Ferriby United have begun their recruitment for the new season. Now in the National League, they've brought in former Lincoln City striker Connor Robinson and ex-Gainsborough Trinity midfielder Simon Russell to the Eon Visual Media Stadium. Danny Clark has signed improved terms with the Villagers and Louis Bruce has extended his stay as well. That's it for tonight. If you do have a news story for us, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553 or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN 345BQ. Until tomorrow. Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, job threats at Tesco Extra, walking for health, and how residents are staying connected thanks to a new minibus service. And my guests tonight, Emma Forrest-Lee and Kyle Anderson of the Grimsby Institute, will be telling me about Neon Nights. But before that, I'll be joined by Alex Baxter to talk about this year's Armed Forces Day. Lincolnshire Police are appealing to the public in helping them identify 3 young males who may be able to assist with a road traffic collision in Louth. At around 5:30 p.m. on Monday the 6th of June, a gold Rover 25 was driven through the cemetery on London Road, knocking down some headstones. The vehicle was blocked in by a member of staff and the driver and passengers abandoned the car and left in the direction of the town centre on foot. Officers seized the vehicle and inquiries revealed that it has not been re-registered with new keeper details after recently being sold. There are fears of job losses tonight as Tesco Extra on Victoria Street in Grimsby has confirmed that its nighttime operations could be axed. Around 50 staff will be affected. Rashita Green brings us the latest.
Tesco have now confirmed that the Extra store on Victoria Street in Grimsby will cease its 24-hour trading times. As of August the 15th, the store will now operate from 6 a.m. till midnight. In a statement issued to Estuary TV, a spokesperson for Tesco has said, "We're making some changes to the way a small number of our stores operate, including our Grimsby Extra store, to help us run them more simply and deliver the best possible service to customers. Where there have been changes to a colleague's role, we will work with them to ensure they are fully supported. As is the company's policy, the roles affected by these changes will be given alternative roles in the same store or in other branches."
Figures released by the Department of Work and Pensions yesterday reveal unemployment in North Lincolnshire has dropped by 3.8% to 2,530 people in May, compared to 2,630 people in April. This is a bigger drop than in Yorkshire and the Humber, where unemployment still fell by 3.2%. North Lincolnshire Council has been providing support for people in the county to find work and making sure people have the skills they need. This includes an action station, which is a one-stop shop for skills and employment, where people over the age of 16 can find support to improve their prospects of finding work, an apprenticeship scheme, the graduate placement programme and the Wheels to Work scheme. The council has invested £33,000 in the scheme and bought a further 11 scooters, enabling people to get to and from work or training. Councillor Rob Waltham, Cabinet Member for Business, Innovation, Employment and Skills, said that it's fantastic that the unemployment figure has dropped to the lowest since January. East Riding Council's Walking for Health programme is offering short and easy walks, perfect for those with illness or injury or those who simply want more exercise. The scheme has been running since 2003. It's a joint venture between the Countryside Access Team and Sports Development.
We are leading a 45-minute walk, and it's part of the National Walking for Health programme, and its aim is to encourage as many people as possible to be more physically active in the natural environment through a gentle walk. The walks are fun, and it's a chance of meeting lots of people. So we have a lot of people that have just moved to the area, they don't know the area at all, so they thought they'll take themselves on a walk. We've got a lot of people also recently lost a partner, so they thought they need to get themselves out, so they come on the walk. The walks are very sociable and it's a great way of meeting people.
It's something that's quite light, leisurely, make friends. We find different areas of Beverley that we've never been to before. You can have the 3/4, half hour, even 2 hour ones, which goes further afield across the rougher terrain. But the thing is that you make good friends, you make good company. Each week you look forward to it and you come back and you're looking forward to it no matter what the weather is, because we're not out for long.
We run 19 different walks in most of the locations in the East Riding, so they're led from all leisure centres, community centres and church halls as well. So we run them from Widensea, Goole, Briddenton to Brough, so anywhere you live, the chances are there's a health walk for you.
It gives you that incentive to get out, motivated, and it's a leisurely walk, it's exercise, and you're meeting new friends. And communicating as well, which is marvellous.
They absolutely love the walks. It's kind of one of the highlights of the day, and it's just a chance for them to get out, meet their friends, have a good chat and stop for a cup of tea and a coffee afterwards.
Me personally, because I'm in my 70s now, I can absolutely know for certain that if I go somewhere I can do it, and this keeps me going, keeps, for checkups and things. Blood pressure, got high blood pressure, but it's nice and leisurely, it's steady, and like the programme says, walking for health, and it does keep you that little bit of fitness and gets rid of a little bit of stiffness, so there's a combination there. It's all right, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you'd like to get involved, the number to call is 01482 392 527. That's 01482 392 527. More information can be found at walkingforhealth.org.uk. Cleethorpes is set to be buzzing as Armed Forces Day will be celebrated in the town next Saturday, the 25th of June. Exciting military demonstrations will include displays from the Red Arrows and the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Alex Baxter, Armed Forces champion for North East Lincolnshire, joins me now to tell me more about this year's event. Alex, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Now, I mentioned there are two of the things that are going on, Red Arrows and Battle of Britain Flight. Now, that's all a bit dedicated to one of three services. Maybe I was being a bit unfair there. What else is going on?
You're not being unfair. Everybody's delighted to see the Red Arrows, absolutely spectacular display, Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, essential asset to the country. However, you're absolutely correct. You've not mentioned the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, or indeed the Army, who are a vital part of this year's National Armed Forces Day, which has been held in the borough of North East Lincolnshire and will represent the whole of the region. It's going to be massive. We're really, really excited. Starts off on Monday with a flag raising to recognise the fact this is the week running up to the National Armed Forces Day, which will be held for the first time at Seaside Resort here in Cleethorpes. And of course, those will be brought in by helicopter for the Royal Air Force that will be hoisted in Cleethorpes. We will then move by army vehicle to Grimsby, where the second flag will be raised, and the third one, which will be handed over, will go by rigid radar, and that's Royal Marines will take it from the dock in Grimsby all the way around the estuary into Immingham, where it will be hoisted in the Civic Centre in Immingham. We are absolutely over the moon that this is the start point. It leads into a week. We have the cadet games on Wednesday, then we get into Friday evening when there's a whole raft of events being organised on Alexandra Road, where we will culminate the evening with a firework display leading into the big day on Saturday. That is going to be massive. We expect in excess of 120,000 people. There will be a very complicated programme in place which will ensure a safe and really effective big display in the resort. It's probably the biggest we've had yet, and I've got to say it will start off in the morning with the Royal Marines doing what they call an amphibious capability demonstration, known to most people as a beach landing or a beach assault, and that will be watched by all of the VIPs who will be in the resort for this event. Take about 20 minutes, followed by a parachute display. Then we will get into the Red Arrows at midday. They will do a full demonstration because we just know the weather is going to be perfect.
You've organised that?
Absolutely, yes. We've had a word with the Bub, and
it's worth saying it will be their full aerobatic demonstration, because they can't do that at Farnborough because it's over too much settlement and too many people.
We have clearance from the Civil Aviation Authority and with the military authorities in order to do a full, absolutely full display at Cleethorpes Seafront on Saturday. That will start at midday and end somewhere around 25 minutes later, and after which we will be prepared for a massive march past of over 1,200 people. When I say that, Army, Navy, Air Force, we have the cadets, and more particularly we also have all of our veterans will join us. We have 4
generations coming together, I guess.
Absolute generations coming together.
Can I just ask quickly,
yes,
it's going to be raising some money. Why is it so important to be celebrating our armed forces and helping them in this way?
It's not actually about fundraising. We're not allowed. Everything has to be free. So there are no charges for absolutely any exhibitions, any displays in the resort. It's very important because Armed Forces Day and the national event in particular is to say thank you by the public to the members of Her Majesty's Armed Forces for the work they do on behalf of the nation. Of course, they are deployed globally.
The nation that they defend. Alex, sorry to cut you off there. That's all we have time for. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's news, all the latest sporting action, and I'll be joined on the sofa by my second guests, Emma Forrest-Lee of the Grimsby Institute. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Emma Forrest-Lee and Carl Anderson of the Grimsby Institute about their Neon Nights. A local RAF Air Cadet adult volunteer from 195 Grimsby Squadron has been promoted for his hard work. Chris French was rewarded with the rank of Flight Sergeant after 7 years as a staff member, owing to his dedication to the Corps. The promotion follows his time as a sports officer on Squadron, during which he organised many popular sporting events, as well as overseeing one of the Squadron's most successful field craft camps. Flight Sergeant French said he's really proud to have received the promotion. A bus service is set to bring local villagers together and reduce isolation in the surrounding area. Call Connect is a joint venture between Lincolnshire County Council and North Lincolnshire Council. The bus service is unusual in that it doesn't run to a fixed timetable, but to the requests of its passengers. Fred McNamara went along to find out more.
Well, the scheme that we've got here today is a new rural bus service for North Lincolnshire, Call Connect. Call Connect is a demand-responsive bus service that operates in and around the main hubs of certain areas. And in Lincolnshire, we've been operating them for quite some time, and we're really happy to be working with North Lincolnshire Council in bringing a really wonderful, helpful, fully accessible bus service to the citizens of this area.
Well, we know people in rural areas can feel isolated with regards to getting out and getting around. and been able to work with Lincolnshire County Council, who have run this scheme for over 15 years, is fantastic. We bring their experience into North Lincolnshire and get people out moving in a very convenient way. So it's a very exciting scheme, and one that I know people will use and relish when they get used to what they need to do.
We have been operating this service for quite some time in Lincolnshire, throughout the whole of Lincolnshire, and we've been working in partnership with lots of other councils, with Northamptonshire County Council, with Peterborough City Council. And about a year ago, senior officers of Lincolnshire County Council began a dialogue and working with officers from North Lincolnshire County Council to look at the provision of rural transport in North Lincolnshire. And after that, after a year's worth of working with them, we're now at the point where we're launching 3 new bus services within 3 distinct different areas of North Lincolnshire.
I know it will. Representing Barton as a local councillor, I know one of the big issues is getting people from A to B, making appointments, hospital visits, whatever it may be, and having this service is going to be fundamental. It changes people's approach of how they access these services and get to places. It'll go to a myriad of locations. It's a quick phone call to register, use the service. It's a very reasonable rate, and I know people will feel freedom, which is what it's about, and gain confidence and hopefully make friends while they're using the bus service. So I think it's going to be a fantastic scheme, especially for Barton in the rural area.
The Call Connect service is a benefit to so many different people within the community. It benefits young people and older people alike. Younger people because they can go from villages to villages and go and see friends and neighbours at any point from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday and 8 till 6 on a Saturday. Older people can use their senior citizen bus passes on these services and their carer pass as well. It's a fully accessible service as well, and in that we mean people with mobility problems can get on and off the bus. There's space for a wheelchair, so people can travel equally and safely on this service. And it also benefits the community because people can get to loads of different locations within their area, so we can support smaller businesses as well.
Students from Grimsby Institute's Arts faculty will be displaying their end-of-year work at an event tomorrow evening. The Neon Lights show is open to the public and has a very 80s theme. Emma Forrest-Lee, Associate Principal for the Institute Art faculty, and student Kyle Anderson join me now to tell me more. Thank you both, you very artistic, creative people. Thank you both very much for coming in.
Thanks for inviting us.
Emma, what's going to be happening tomorrow evening? Tell me a bit about it.
Well, firstly, apologies for the way I look.
No, you look
I don't
splendid.
normally dress like this for a boardroom, but we've just come off stage. We've been rehearsing ready for tomorrow night. We've got an 80s extravaganza. We're celebrating everything that happens across the faculty, so work in computing, performing arts, visual arts, the media department, music department, right across the board. The first part of the evening is a real showcase, and hence dressing like this. We've got a fashion show, and it's about an hour long in our theatre. But after that, we've got an evening up until 10 o'clock where people can have a go at creating some urban art, having a look at the art exhibition. We've got a hog roast, a photo booth, a bar, magicians work in the
You just
department.
have to mention the food in the bar, and
Yeah,
you've got half the people there already.
We've got free sweets for
Free
the children.
sweeties,
Yeah.
how lovely.
And we have got a 10-metre inflatable igloo, which is a gig tent, and it's what they use for the music festivals, and we've got that right in the middle of the campus. We've got projections going on there, so it's just a massive showcase and a really big party.
Excellent.
Tomorrow.
I never go anywhere unless there's an inflatable igloo.
Well, naturally.
Quite right too. Kyle, what's your contribution as a student? What have you done for the show?
Well, I'm a fashion student, so we've made our own exhibition for our final projects, and we're also going to be giving a taster of our fashion show, which will be next Thursday, and we'll be giving it at the end of tomorrow night.
And how would you describe your fashion? What's your couture like?
I'd say my vision is to create a mess, but a beautiful mess.
That's what I achieve every day.
Same.
And this 80s theme, you see, to me the 80s doesn't seem very long ago. In fact, it seems terrifyingly recently, but to you the 80s must seem like history.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know there was colour TV in the 80s.
Did you not?
No, I don't know anything about it.
No, well, okay.
Me too.
It was, yes, well, the poor old Queen Victoria was just about still on the throne back then, Kyle. Why the 80s theme? And that excites me, because that was when I was in my teens in the 1980s, and so I like that idea.
It's on trend. It's what's going to come out in the next round on catwalks, and as the arts faculty, we need to follow trend. We need to know what trend is and set the pace, and that's what we're doing.
And you said that it's going across the whole board of what goes on in the arts faculty, and that's not just visual arts. There will be painting, sculpture, things like that there?
Absolutely. We've got the full exhibition of work from our FE students, and we've also got a showcase of HE students, so we have got painting,
So FE, that's
drawing.
16 to 18, HE, they're university students.
Yeah, our degree, the degree programmes, that's right.
But also music and performance.
Music and performance, and also digital. So we've got 3D printing, we've got programming, we've got our games design students. So right across the board, if it's creative, that's us.
Why is it so important to have, in a town like Grimsby, to have a facility for teaching up to degree level all these creative arts and this opportunity to create beauty?
Because it doesn't matter where you live. If you've got talented people, you've got talented people, and in Grimsby there are so many talented people. Our student team and staff team are just amazing. They're a collection of people that I've never met. I've never met anything like it before coming together, and they're from Grimsby, so why not? You don't have to live in London to do something like this. It's about the people, not the place.
Well, this is very much the Northern Royal Academy show, isn't it? Summer show.
Well, better.
Better than that. Kyle, have you enjoyed your studies here?
Yeah, well, I've done 3 courses now, and every single one I've loved. Like, I've not got a complaint about any of them.
So you've done fashion design, what are the other 2?
And then I did journalism, and then I did media.
Right.
And I've loved every single bit.
Well, I'll try to tempt you into journalism, or perhaps this is a lesson to stay away from journalism. Where do people have to be, Emma, tomorrow night to come and enjoy this? Where and what do they have to do?
You don't have to dress ridiculously, but you can if you want. At 6:30, if you come to the art school, we open our doors. We open at 6 o'clock, but we start at 6:30. We have a limited capacity of 200 seats, so once we're full, we're full. We'll do the opening show, which is about 45 minutes, but from 6:30 until 10 o'clock, you can come and view the work. So whether you want to come to the opening bit, whether you want to come a bit later on, you can arrive at 9:30 if you want to. And the event happens till 10 o'clock, right across the art school and in the quad outside.
Brilliant. That's at the Grimsby Institute Nuns Corner in Grimsby.
That's right.
Thank you both very much. Have a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time now for the sports news. According to reports, Tito Nsiala and Richard Tate are on their way out of Grimsby Town after reportedly rejecting new terms to stay on at Blundell Park. Nsiala is considering a number of offers from League Two, while Tate is apparently set for a move back to his native Scotland, with SPL side Motherwell leading the race for his signature. Hull FC could pick up their 14th win in 15 games when they head to the Menderhose jungle this week to take on Castleford Tigers. The game kicks off at 3:30 p.m. on Sunday the 19th of June. Radford's men take on 7th placed Castleford in West Yorkshire this weekend on the back of 8 consecutive victories in all competitions. Last week's away win against Warrington Wolves kept the Black and Whites 2 points clear at the top of the Super League table. A loss for the Tigers could see them slip below rivals Wakefield into 8th place. Hull KR head coach James Webster has made 4 changes to his 19-man squad for Friday's trip to St Helens. The Rovers boss has recalled Ben Cockayne, Graham Horne and James Donaldson to the squad after the trio recovered from recent injuries, while Joe Wardle is also named in the 19 in place of Ken Seo, who has been given permission to return to Australia following the birth of his twins this week. And that's all we have time for tonight, I'm afraid. If you'd like to get in touch, then please contact us via Facebook, Twitter, or call us on Grimsby 01472 31 555 3. Until tomorrow, good evening.